know, I can just feel the antipathy based upon my recent comments, you know, but, you know, I have to state the truth where I see it, you know. What girl's name goes with this music, I wonder? I often have a single girl's name in my head, I don't know why. Don't anybody ask me who Maria is, I just like the name. Anyway, this track's called Vegas, it's on the new album. And I hope someone's going to buy it because, you know, whatever anybody says, I do need the cash, so... That track's called The Kiss. And yeah, that track's called The Kiss. So there are 10 tracks on the new album. I say the new album, not to be confused with the 2 new albums that came out last week or about a week ago. There were 2 albums that came out that I'd produced, but the most recent album that's just coming up, that's not out yet, but it'll be out within a week or so, and it's available on a pre-release basis, and it's got 10 songs on it, and you know, considering, that literally, it's as if there's a secret rule among people that or perhaps people are forbidden by something from buying my music. I don't know why, or forbidden from paying me. Someone somewhere's got quite a lot of money that I should be receiving, but for some reason I never do, and it's in payment for my music. So if anyone's got the guts to actually pay some cash for what I'm producing, that would be great. That would be so great. Because it's a lot of work that I do, and it takes a lot of time to produce music, and it's a lot of work. So but yeah, I mean, I don't understand why it is. It's just, I must have done 1,000 deals, and none of them have ever come through. So, for the music. So, I haven't been paid. I haven't been paid for an enormous amount of work that I've undertaken, and I'd like to know why. I guess a lot of you don't have the spare cash, and that, if that being the case, I don't have spare cash myself, so, no worries, Anyway, honeybee, if I drop dead of a heart attack on camera, you can blame the malefic intentions of black magicians, or you know, it's look, I'm not forcing myself to laugh. There is something genuinely funny here, but you know, I mean, you know, I'm not going to be sucked into believing that the entire audience to this live broadcast and then recording is composed of unless someone's kind of channeled it to, you know, am I being channeled now to, you know, people who want an explanation for what I've said, you know. You know, so, okay, I'll explain. Okay, I'll explain. When I was a young man, I decided I wanted to join the Order of the Temple of the Orient. And I did. I joined them. And not long after, I founded my own order. They are called Ordo Templi Gladius Flammarae. That's OTGF. And Ordo Templi Gladius Flammarae, or simply Ordo Templi Flammarae. So OTGF is the Order of the Temple of the Sword that Flames. And that's the order that I founded and the order that I represent. And it's a magical order, and so I am OTGF, and so far as I'm aware, we have a global reach, and we've existed now since 1987, which was the year of our foundation. Since 1987, people have been practicing OTGF magic, and we are the strongest magical current on the planet, and will remain so forever, eternally. So that's the OTGF. Now, you know, I can't explain why I founded the OTGF and why and why I have decided the things that I've decided, except to say that, you know, the OTO is very flaky, you know, really is. So you know, in the, you know, the the principle of a magical temple is fine, but in actual practice, I think that so many people have kind of ideas going on that, you know, regarding the functions of a magical temple that that are not a realism. So you know, being realistic, I had to come up with something realistic, because it seemed to me that everybody else was promoting ideas that really didn't work. So you know, and the fact is, the OTO do not teach magic. So, you know, I spent years within the OTO, and they don't teach magic. So notwithstanding the 9th degree. So, you know, you could say that you could say that it's an auto magic. It's not something they will go into. You know, I'll just give the example. After the first initiation that I undertook, they asked me to show them magic. So, you know, you know, as I spent years corresponding with a senior official at the OTO, and he just kept asking me the same question. You know, he kept asking me, he kept asking me, think very carefully about what you want. He asked me that question. He put that to me about 100 times. Think very carefully about what you want. Now, that's a pretty good suggestion, I think. Because if you're going to do magic, you've got to know what you want. If you don't know what you want, then there's not really anything to do. So well, you know, that was the Caliphate OTO. You know, they said to me, think very carefully about what you want. And it was about 6 or 8 years later that I paid them for the first initiation. And I was very grateful that after the initiation, the initiating officer, he spent my initiation fees on buying me huge amounts of pizza. He spent all the initiation fees on pizzas, and when we ate them together, it was lovely. It was great. And the Typhonians, who took me to secret meetings in the late 80s or the mid to late 80s, were also wonderful. You know, very lovely people, and you know, I had the time of my life. I loved it. You know, and the Typhonians were, it was a pleasure, but the 9 months work that I had to do was very difficult work, extremely difficult work. You know, 2 hours asana, dharana, and 2 hours asana, pranayama and dharana twice a day for 9 months is excruciatingly difficult. God. And that's exactly as AC said it should be done. So the Caliphate don't practice that. But that's exactly as AC said it should be done. So the Typhonians practice that. You see, 9 months solid work on asana, pranayama and dharana builds a strength and builds, it's like exercise. It teaches persistence. You have to keep going for 9 months. 2 hours twice a day, every day. So that builds persistence and mental strength, physical strength, and it teaches achievement. And everybody else going around who says they are initiates of this and that, I disbelieve that they have put in any work at all. God. So when I say I'm the Grand Master of the OTGF, I expect to be taken seriously. Because I've done something. I mean, I'm not, look, I've just got to say, because, you know, it's, you know, AC was a Golden Dawn magician before he was an OTO magician. And the Golden Dawn do not teach, you know, Golden Dawn magic as it was passed down from Crowley's secretary, Israel Regardie, is not what many people have come to consider magic to be. It's not. What I did was, after my 9 months yoga, was take the Golden Dawn system and put it together in a way that it had not been before. As some people may find, Regardie himself was it seems that Regardie himself was at whether or not he felt that he should not reveal too much, I don't know. You know, I know. Look, you know, you know, it's like, do I have to go into explaining the stories of, the of Theodore Roos and the rest of it, all the rest of it. I really don't want to go into it. You know, there's a huge amount of history regarding the OTO, people that were senior officials who kept the spirit of the OTO going. For the very same reason that some people today don't want to talk about the history of the OTO in any great detail. Similarly, I do not want to have to speak about the history of the OTO in any detail, but, except to say that I've had my say on these things, and I've said, that Crowley was an innocent golden dawner, but however right or wrong it was to say that compared to his. But I used AC's methods, and I seem to have found the same result, and in the same way that AC became known as an occult leader, and then subsequently Regardie became known as an occult leader, I've become known as an occult leader. So, it's as people at the OTO will say, it's a method that does work. But few can appreciate the extent of work that is required, and it's not easy, and it's not quick. It takes a lifetime. it took AC his lifetime, and it took Regardie his lifetime, and it's taken me my lifetime. So you know, and so far as I'm concerned, as the leader of the OTGF, it's not based on drugs, it's not based on sex, it's based upon a realism of understanding. So, you know, and when I lose something and I can't find it, I say to myself, you know, being such a great magician, how is it that I can misplace something? But that's life, you know. You know, and usually within a few seconds I found what I'm looking for, so there you go. That's magic, as they say. You know, you know, AC talks a lot about demons, but, or no, I shouldn't say talks a lot about demons. He perhaps talk, you know, AC has talked about demons, and I guess that, you know, at the highest initiations, you know, in the very highest, the whole world seems like a demon. So. you know, if that makes things any easier for people that are going through it, as it were. If that explanation suffices anyone who may be having trouble, you know, with one demon or another, you know. You see, and this brings me to the considering the because, you know, this is a historical thing. I you know, it's like, you know, I suggest, you know, looking to the future is better than, you know, dwelling too much in upon difficult situations of the past. But you know, the magician of high ceremonial magic is planning his future. You know, I don't mean to be too oversimplistic or too you know, too dull about it, but you know, magic is about planning the future. That's the way I see it. That's the way we see it at the OTGF. That's what we teach. You know, kind of stating again something I've already said, because, you know, when you're trying to talk about something in a situation such as this, it's handy to have a pre-arranged something to talk about. So, you know, the magician sees the future and arranges the present So one method of arranging the present are the preliminary practices of asana, pranayama, and dharana. In practicing these things, one is becoming hermetic. The magic that AC practiced was in the first was the Hermetic magic of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. So what is happening is, in practicing those three practices, is that one is escaping the constraints, the a priori constraints of life that one has been subject to up until that moment. The person approaching the threshold of the temple is leaving the world. I say leaving the world, I've put that to absolutely. The person see, I've put that to absolutely. What's actually going on is, the thing is, okay, as it says in the in the grade ritual for Adeptus Minor or Adeptus Major, the statement that the magician makes is, I am self-begotten. Now, that doesn't sit well with most cultures. You know, most cultures, any culture that a magician may come from, you know, the constraint that each and every slave in the world is under, the constraint, hold it, the music's gone on. The constraint that every member of every culture is under is that they are somehow the product of something else. Now, that's not part of the belief system of the Adeptus Minor or the Adeptus Major. So, you know, it's you know, I'm happy to have said everything that I've said here. you know, as AC considered himself to be a world teacher. Regardie considered himself to be a world teacher. Lots of people that have gone through those systems have considered themselves to be a world teacher. So, you know, as the mouthpiece for the OTGF, I consider myself to be a world teacher. I've just explained a lot of what I think is. I've just explained quite a few things about magic and the OTGF, and I think it's intelligible, and it's based upon a realism, not a fiction, and you know, the techniques of the OTGF are solid gold, as gold as the rose sunset, and you know. And you know, it's you know, Regardie said the key to success in magic is persistence, and that is true. Persistence with accuracy of technique. Accuracy of technique and persistence. You know, the OTGF are not in the business of fooling people into handing over money where they're not receiving anything in return, which is largely what so many people have been up to in this field. So, you know, it does strike me that our system, based on the system of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, though not the same, which had been practiced by AC in the manner that the Golden Dawn can, and had been practiced by Regardie. It strikes me that the techniques are somewhat complex for the average person. It strikes me that the techniques are somewhat complex for the average person, and that the work involved is too much for most. For those that are prepared to learn with humility, and respect, the rewards are astronomical. So of course, I'm referring to occult magic. I'm not referring to tricks. I'm not referring to tricks. I'm referring to occult magic. So anybody who thought I was talking about tricks can just drop that notion right there, because I'm talking about occult magic, hermetic magic. So, you know, our aim is that people on the path of occult hermeticism, occult magic, do not get lost. That's our aim, that people who are on that path do not get lost. So, you know, people with ideas about drugs and sex, you know, can really forget about the idea of becoming an initiate of the OTGF, because what is required to learn our syllabus is clear thinking, solid work, understanding, and so on and so forth. You know, if you can't read, then you're at a disadvantage when it comes to OTGF magic. You know, there's someone outside the window here. I think they're trying to get their voice on this broadcast. I'm going to go and shut the window. you know, the famous document of the OTO was translated into lots of different national languages, printed in lots of different national languages. Now, the main document of the OTGF was conceived in English. I wrote it, and I wrote it in English. This country that I live in. It's been translated into Spanish also. And I hope, and it is my hope, that it will be translated also at least into as many languages, as many national languages and printed scripts. It will be translated into as many national printed languages, at least as many as the document of the OTO document was translated into. Now, that's something that that's something that I'd have to work at. If I don't live longer than the next few years, that translation's not going to happen. But it's the hope of the OTGF that we will be published in every national script. It is a treasure. It is a treasure. It is a treasure, and I believe, and we believe, it is more relevant to today than any other system that has ever been devised. So this is my magical girdle that I'm wearing. I just thought I'd say that for the sake of showmanship. Anyway, I've got a bit of a sore throat now, and partly because I've been talking so much, but partly because of other things. So, you know, so, you know, if I drop dead in this instant on camera, I will have achieved everything that I wanted to achieve in my life without failing to achieve anything. I will have achieved everything that I set out to achieve. And that is OTGF magic. For some reason my heating doesn't seem to be. You see, as I said, you know, it's sometimes a few seconds go by before I get what I want, but you know, I usually get what I want, and that's the method of the OTGF magic, and it works, and you know, I've got what I want, and that's what we said it did, and that's what it does. So You know, and having said that, I'm putting some extra cheese on my crumpet. Just to prove that I've got what I want. There's something about this cheese, very nutritious. No, excuse me, I don't want to speak with my mouth full. Délicieux, mademoiselle. Excuse me. You know, so you know, I guess, you know, the money I spent on my Caliphate OTO initiation wasn't wasted, because the initiating officer spent all of the money on buying pizza for me. All the money I paid him, he spent it all on pizza for me. So I've just illustrated that OCGF magic works because I've got what I want, something to eat, and I enjoy tobacco as well, and I've got that as well. So now, anybody else who's doing magic for any other purposes, I put to them the same question that the initiating officer of the caliphate, I put to them the same statement or a question based upon the statement made by the initiating officer of the caliphate OTO. Have you thought clearly, have you thought about what you want? You know, Rigardi, in his introduction to, in the introduction of one of his books, suggested that, well, Rigardi put it this way, he said that the magical path instilled humility. I would add that more than a modicum of humility is necessary to the very beginning of the path. You cannot get anywhere in the OTGF if you are evil, because OTGF magic is angelic. So a lot of people are excluded per se. The point of it is the formation of a man who is perfect. So, you know, the point of it is the formation of a man who is perfect. Adam Kadmon, the perfected being. So I'll just leave it there. I'm switching off now to give myself some time, some recuperation time, and I'm going to recommence the broadcast in perhaps 20 minutes or so.